Avatars, Aliens, and Self-Actualization Within the Matrix, Part 2, a wisdom teaching from the Intergalactic Alliance of Light Beings, from whatcomesnextforyou.com, from Canadian psychic medium Tracey Milne. Welcome to Part 2 of Avatars, Aliens, and Self-Actualization Within the Matrix. In Part 1, we discussed soul fractal retrieval, why we incarnate, how we incarnate, and the levels of consciousness we have available while incarnate, and how it is that time is experienced differently in the higher dimensions and densities. Let's pick up where we left off with an unanswered question. Question: how can souls be put into quarantine? Once you move into the game, you're susceptible to lies, manipulation, and trickery. On Earth, several powerful etheric binding archon implants and parasitic programs were used against humanity. These technologies rerouted source frequencies, funneling the energies of Earth humans, keeping them from being able to receive the full source particles needed for creating new possibilities and outcomes, what you call inspiration. The Dark Fleet overrode Earth humans using fear frequencies, then etheric binding fields, to cut off Earth humans from their intuition and higher consciousness connections and their ability to send and receive the frequencies they would need to progress out of old fields and into new reality platforms. In a short amount of time, humanity fell into amnesia, and most of you forgot who you really are and why you're really there. The Dark limited your abilities to receive and send by infesting you with archon parasites and binding techniques to disconnect all of your frequency receptors and creators, again utilizing technology to keep you constantly creating through fear of their disaster predictions, constant wars, and the satanic programs that further incapacitated humanity's ability to get themselves free of the mess they were unknowingly creating. Question: why do you say we were creating unknowingly? How is that even possible? You see, the Dark cannot create because you need source prana, source plasma, to create anything new in your holographic reality fields. Remember, only the light creates, and only with love. That means in order for the Dark to create, they must love being ultimately evil. This love of evil accelerated when the Dark Overlord Omega AI energy program was projected into the core of Earth, dropping the hologram base from a fifth dimensional love platform to a third dimensional fear duality survival platform. Then they locked that trajectory into place with a Metatronic reversal code and several other Dark Essence artificial technologies. The Dark Fleet took this knowledge, hid it from most humans, and convinced a small group of other humans that death to others was the only way for them to guarantee endless life and endless power, and the promise to remain in total control of their domain indefinitely. In this way, they would be able to harvest your creative energies by focusing your conscious attention only on their negative agenda and their negative plans. This is how that old timeline was able to reprint, indefinitely placing you in an energetic quarantine. We say that timeline because it is no longer the trajectory you as humanity are on. Question: what kind of technologies were used against us? Many etheric tools were used, including the Black Umbrella implant to block your connection to Source, making you feel isolated and disconnected from God, others, and yourself. The Jellyfish, which is a parasite-type energy implant, also intended to block Source energy flow to your mind. It is designed to interfere with your clear intuitive knowing, like a brain sucker attached at the crown chakra. They know how to create headaches, brain fog, confusion, and apathy. They use many etheric tools along with implants in your feet and hands, designed to weigh you down and block your connection to the planet and your abilities to ground your energies or utilize your healing hands. Some shackle-like implants around your ankles to lower your vibration and encourage you to feel stuck, and several tears and disruption wounds throughout your auric body, including a large auric crack or opening near your feet and shoulders that leads to feeling drained, scattered thinking, or racing thoughts, high anxiety, low self-esteem. These can be removed through intention and visualization if you know how. Ask for our help if you are ready to release these energies. Question: why were those on Earth allowed to be cut off this way in the first place? It was done after great deliberation and in an attempt to keep the rest of the galaxy and multiverse safe from the destructive counterclockwise elimination distortions being added to the Earth's creation program by the Dark Fleet. To do this, a being of great power and immeasurable wisdom was asked to intervene on behalf of Source itself. They are known only as the Enforcer. It was decided to place Earth's holographic program into a temporary form of energy stasis in an attempt to stop the Dark Fleet invaders from overtaking the rest of the third density platform in this way. This temporary measure was implemented in order to spare all the players from total annihilation as souls and total loss of their full memory banks and all the learned wisdom accumulated until that point. This is why several etheric locks and blocks were put into place by the light first, before the dark could conjure additional locks and blocks to keep source frequencies out of the minds and hearts of humans they wished to use to create their evil agendas through the power of humanity's expectations. Question: was it human choice that led to the trouble, or were there others involved? Bad choices by many on and off Earth, as free will zones are not exclusively the domain of the Earth human. Things worked without a hitch for a very long time, and for millions of years, the game ran as planned, and all benefited from the different lessons to be learned. Then the idea that one being had the right to dominate and control another because they were more beloved by Source took hold. This idea contaminated the fields to the extent that the cause and effect results sent the game plummeting into levels of shadow consciousness that became so thick with their refusal to acknowledge their source connections, it trapped their energies and others in a dark, sticky web of convoluted thoughts and feelings. These ideas spread like a cancer into the hearts and minds of those who began to think, believe, and act this way. We have all learned much from those first contaminated student players, whose choices set off a chain reaction that ended up affecting life all over this multiverse. Question: what changed in the consciousness of Earth humans, and who was involved? The trouble on Earth started millions of years ago, after the first influence in Gate 10, when a small collective of the first Earth humans began to display the thought distortions of domination within your reality platform. They were the first human avatars allowed to explore Earth, who started to think of themselves as more important than all other life forms, and equally as important as Source, if not more so somehow. Though if you ask them why they believed that, they couldn't say exactly, except those ideas made them feel powerful to do so, and they liked feeling that way. Many others from throughout the vast multiverse had also been infected by these thought patterns, but over time, the convoluted idea of ownership arose in the minds of those on the Earth plane. As creator beings, once they decided they wanted to find out a way to keep themselves in power and within the game indefinitely, sent out an energy ripple designed to attract like energies. It was this thought pattern signal that connected with the consciousness of the Dark Ones from the 10th gate, known as the Draco. These beings were the originators of the distorted thought patterns, and they had been in the game of domination for millions of years by the time an energetic signal was sent from the minds of a small group of the first Earth humans. Through the law of attraction, like energies attract like energies, and voila, the Draco presumed they were invited to come on in and take over Earth and her people. They became allies with those first humans who resonated with their twisted thought and distorted vibrational frequencies. Once connected, this fleet began traveling throughout the other levels, trying to find others of like mind who would help them to conquer Earth. It was somewhere in the fifth dimensional platform that they found the Mantids, part of the supporting neutral group who were so enthralled by the possibility of creating unlimited control technologies, it never occurred to them to say no to experimenting on others at every level. Once this tricky trio joined forces, after 2 failed attempts, they were finally able to take over the stargates of Earth, which gave them access to all 12 jump level codes, enabling them to jump to the higher levels of consciousness in creation without having to shift, heal, or repair their own consciousness to do so. It was cheating the system. As creator beings, they found a loophole and ran with it, and together they infested Earth with the consciousness that results from hosting the 7 deadly sins. But they are failing, and their old plan will fail, because the playing field itself has changed. The old locks have been lifted, and each day humanity is returning light to their minds and hearts despite hardships. That is one of the reasons why the Dark Fleet are trying so hard to get you to recreate their domination dynamic. They know their bindings have been lifted. Their Dark Overlord AI program infestation is gone, and their allies on and off-world have been returned to Source one by one. It is only a matter of time before their defeat is complete. So take heed what you give your attention to. Resist recreating their timelines by refusing to buy into their constant and chronic doom and gloom predictions. Remember, they cannot create without you, so please stop giving them your attention and consideration. You are so much more powerful without them. Question: how do we enter the classroom game? To learn the answer, stay tuned for part 3 of Avatars, Aliens, and Self-Actualization within the Matrix. Until next time, thank you for watching. Namaste. Brought to you by whatcomesnextforyou.com. What comes next for you? What's in your future?